People are mad at Taylor Swift because she's laid waste to a founding myth of feminism, which is that women are happiest when they abandon the family, demonize men, and worship themselves. Well, last time I weighed in on the single most important luminary of modern times, which of course is Taylor Swift, it was to discuss the news of her engagement with NFL player Travis Kelce. More specifically, if I recall correctly, I spent about half of the daily cancellation mocking a CBS reporter who giggled like a schoolgirl as she broke into live coverage to announce the engagement. Didn't exactly seem like professional behavior by the reporter, and I spent roughly 10 minutes making that point. That was about 2 months ago, and now belatedly, I have to do something I almost never do, which is admit that I made a mistake. I must issue an unequivocal apology to that giggling CBS reporter. Take it all back. I had no way of knowing that in retrospect, I'd realized that her response was actually the single most dignified way that a self-described Swiftie could handle the fact that Taylor Swift was planning on getting married and having kids. Everyone else in this illustrious community would ultimately take the news far, far worse. It's not an overstatement to say that at the moment, there's a full-fledged mutiny among Swifties now that her new album called The Life of a Showgirl has just been released. This album contains a few songs apparently about Taylor Swift's personal life, focusing on her engagement, as you might imagine. And the fans, many of them are not taking it well. And their response actually tells us something important about our culture at the moment. So we'll start with this TikTok, which features a small segment from the most controversial song on the album. And as the song plays, for our audio podcast listeners, there's a white woman who scowls through the whole thing, along with a caption calling the song racist propaganda. So here it is. Watch. Now, in case you couldn't make it out, Taylor Swift is singing to her fiance here, and she says that she wants to have a couple of children and get the whole block looking like you. This is one of those lines that, unless English isn't your first language, is a pretty clear meaning. It means that she wants to have a lot of children with Travis Kelce. And then they'll look like him, because that's the way genetics work. You don't need to be a master wordsmith to decode it. Throughout the vast majority of world history, no one would take any issue whatsoever with a line like that. But Taylor Swift's fans are taking an issue with this line, and it's not hard to see why. The complaints about white supremacy are obviously disingenuous. It's like a car backfiring or an animal that's vomiting involuntarily. They don't know what to say, so they're just throwing words out there. They're really unhappy because, like tens of millions of other women, they've been told from birth that they can find fulfillment without starting a family simply by pursuing a meaningless corporate job and whatever, doing yoga until they turn 65 or something. And now their icon, their goddess, is telling them in her mid-30s that actually fulfillment does come from starting a family. It's like the ultimate rug pull. And they just have no idea how to process this. Watch.
Not to be the friend that's too woke, okay? But on Wishlist, when Taylor's like, they all want their dogs that they call their kids, and that's fine. But I want a baby. I want a baby with you. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Why is the shade? Why the shade? Weren't you just, like, the proud cat mom? Like, childless cat mom? Childless cat lady? I'm so confused. I'm confused. I want the whole neighborhood looking like you. Like, I'm just so confused. Like, in this climate, you want the whole neighborhood looking like you, like Travis?
The childless cat ladies are definitely confused. There's no doubt about that. A guy using the name Wayne on X cataloged a bunch of similar clips like this. Frankly, he deserves hazard pay for rooting through all of this, but he did, and here's another one.
I have subjected myself to listening to Taylor Swift's new album, and the song Wishlist, yeah, that's trad wife propaganda. That is straight up trad wife propaganda. Why else would you put a song about wanting a whole block of kids looking like you while we're going through the...
They're apparently thrown by the fact that during the election, Taylor Swift put out a post on social media attacking J.D. Vance, who had mocked childless cat ladies. And Swift stood up for these childless cat ladies and called herself one. And to make matters worse, as far as we know, Taylor Swift didn't take money from Kamala's campaign to post that, although every other celebrity who supported Kamala was on the Democrats' payroll. And in this case, it would have been a lot more dignified if she had posted that for, say, a few $1 million, but she just posted it, I guess, on her own. But in any event, this is a major theme of these enraged TikToks. They're all really upset that Taylor Swift, who once called herself a childless cat lady, is about to pop out some kids. She's betraying the childless cat lady community. This is an act of betrayal. She's a traitor. Watch.
Taylor Swift is handing the conservative agenda on a silver platter to the masses. And before I go any further and before you argue with me, you cannot convince me that the master lyricist of our generation, akin to Shakespeare, the Easter egg master of our generation, is not aware of what her entire optics and lyrics and album and everything is giving at this very moment. She went through this entire thing with Trump, right? About how she and her fan base did not like being called childless cat ladies. And now Taylor is calling y'all childless cat ladies because she's about to pop out some kids. And you know what's coming next? Taylor Swift line of baby product. You too could pop out some kids and live in a racially homogenous neighborhood.
I could spend the next 5,000 years going through TikToks like this where the women are clearly upset that the rug has been pulled from under them. You know that creepy feeling you get sometimes like you're being watched while browsing online? Well, here's the thing. You actually are. Every time you hop on the internet, your service provider can see literally everything you do. And get this, in the US, they can legally sell your entire browsing history. Even the incognito browsing is not so private after all. And that's why I started using ExpressVPN. It's this brilliant app that encrypts everything I do online and routes it through secure servers. Since I started using it, my internet provider can't see anything that I'm doing online, which means that they've got nothing to sell because they've got nothing on me. Whenever I'm on the road, whether it's at a hotel or at the airport, I always make sure to have ExpressVPN on while working on my computer. You can never be too careful. ExpressVPN makes being cautious easy. But here's what I really love about ExpressVPN. It also hides my IP address, so those annoying data brokers can't build a profile about me to sell to advertisers. Plus, it's incredibly user-friendly. You don't have to be a tech whiz to use it. They've made it so simple that even your kids could figure it out. All you got to do is tap one button to get protected. They've got the app for all your devices, and it's rated #1 by CNET, The Verge, and other major tech reviewers. Find out how you could get up to 4 months for free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com/MattWalshShow. In a way, this is similar to the fury that trans-identifying people have when they realize that actually they can't change genders. They've been fed a lie for most of their lives, and then when they realize that they've been deceived, they lash out. But instead of documenting any more TikToks where women lash out, because I think you probably get the point, let's move on to this video from an especially deranged psychopath on TikTok. And admittedly, this is a creepy video, hard to watch, because you get some real serial killer vibes here. But if you listen long enough, it gets to something of a point. Watch.
Am I the only one who's getting trad Wi-Fi from Taylor Swift's new album? Like in the song Wish List, she's talking about how everybody wants these material markers of success, but not her though. She just wants a man, and she wants to have all of his kids so everyone around her will look like him. And what she really wants is a house in suburbia that has a basketball hoop in the driveway for her kids. She doesn't want to have sex. She's hypnotized. She's under his spell. It's not that she wants this, she just can't consent. And then you have the line, his love was the key that opened my thighs, which reminds me of a lot of slut shaming I heard growing up, of, oh, you should only have sex with people you really love. It shouldn't be about your own sexual pleasure. And that line is so gross to me because it's his love that opened her thighs. It's not that she's choosing this, it's that he loves her and he wants her, so he's going to have her. And it's so interesting to me because Taylor's entire brand is her being a relatable white girl. But the average white girl isn't relating to Taylor right now. The average white girl is probably living paycheck to paycheck, is struggling to buy groceries because grocery prices are up and rent prices are up, and they're losing their rights rapidly. And it seems like on this album, Taylor isn't even trying to be relatable anymore.
If you listen to hysterical women long enough, in general, you'll eventually find out what they're really upset about. It might take a while for them to get around to it, but usually they do. And this video is no different. She's not upset about slut shaming or trad wife vibes or how Taylor Swift is hypnotized or whatever. That's what she begins by talking about. But at the end of the video, as you just saw, she admits her real problem with Taylor Swift. Her real problem is that from an economic perspective, it doesn't seem possible for many young people to buy a home and start a family. That's the root of the outrage in this case. Misery loves company, as the saying goes. Here's another example from a viral post on social media. Quote, "Not to be dramatic, and I'll be a Swiftie to the day I die, but I actually cried tears at this album at how shockingly bad it was. Not one single song I liked. I prefer her Heartbroken." Well, there you have it. I mean, the first problem is that you thought that her music was good in the first place, so then you're shocked when it's bad. Those of us who've always known that it was bad, it's not, we're not shocked by it. We're not gonna, we're not gonna cry over it. It's exactly what we expected. But the line there is very telling. I prefer her Heartbroken. That's a great thing to say, isn't it, about someone that you claim to like? You're a Swiftie, like you admire this woman, but you want her to just be heartbroken and devastated her whole life. I love you so much. I want you to be heartbroken. I want you to hate your life. That's how much I love you. But everyone can see why that is. If you're a young woman who can't find a husband, which is more common now than it's ever been in the history of this country, then you're going to be heartbroken. You're probably going to view family as a luxury. You're going to fall into the trap of believing that only billionaires like Taylor Swift can possibly get married and have kids. And then you're going to become bitter and borderline psychotic. Every single criticism of this new album ultimately boils down to this. It's displaced rage. These women want to start families. Like innately, they do want to start a family. Like at their core, there is that pull because, zillions of years of human biology demand it. The sexual revolution and woke politics cannot change human nature. It's always there. You always feel that pull. And they're resolving this tension between what they really want and what they've been told to want by lashing out at Taylor Swift. And by the way, gay liberal men are doing the same thing for what it's worth. Watch.
An album about like an idealized form of like what is a typical American family, ideally, of like living in a suburb, being in a monogamous relationship, finding peace and joy, and basically just kind of being a housewife. Those are Republican virtues. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad things, but they are things that Republicans and conservatives and sometimes liberals use. And ignoring that they are used in that way in our political climate is not like a gotcha moment. It is a lack of media literacy. So yeah, Taylor Swift's new album is clearly political, right? Even if it's not intentionally so. And it is political in exactly the politics that likes to hide itself, which is conservatism. Further, doing this album, which is basically like a victory lap that is bad, all people are literally being disappeared by a Gestapo, there is a genocide going on, and rising fascism in America is distasteful. It is distasteful to release an album and have not commented on any of the bad going on that celebrates how ideal and good your life is. I'm not saying you can't do that, but you have to do so awarely. And failing to do that, does normalize the state of existence you're in right now.
Again, the political diatribe is a smokescreen. It couldn't be any more transparent. Nobody's mad at Taylor Swift because she's not singing songs about illegal aliens getting rounded up in Home Depot parking lots. People are mad at Taylor Swift because she's laid waste to a founding myth of feminism, which is that women are happiest when they abandon the family, demonize men, and worship themselves. And millions of young women are now seeing in their own lives exactly where feminist ideology leads. They're watching other people find happiness while they produce impotent, deranged TikToks that launch 1,000 wellness checks. This is where feminism was always going to lead. And now, even though they were warned for many years, millions of women finally understand that. And that is why everyone complaining about Taylor Swift's new album on TikTok, instead of looking for the actual root of their own unhappiness, is today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.